Hi, this is Craig from RDH Garage. I'm going to use a CycleWorks tool to pull a swing arm bearing race today. And so I'll show you the tool first. This is the tool already assembled. The first thing you have to do is there's a bolt inside of here that has a nut on it with a nylon end on it, so you put the nut onto the bolt until it's flush with the end of the nut. And then you take this plate. The instructions are from CycleWorks, so he tells you how to do this. You have this plate and you insert 4 of the screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and leave 2 out, and then insert the bolt with the nut inside and insert the other 2 inside this plate. So this is what it looks like in the end. And once you're done doing that, you will make sure that the screws are all even, so you put them on a flat surface such as this, and look to make sure that all the screws are evenly touching the flat surface, so you can screw them in or out to make them all even. That takes a little time. After that, you will insert the set screw right here. The set screw has a hex insert, and just tighten it up until it's snug, basically. So once that's all together, what we're doing is you can remove the outer seal with this if it's an original BMW seal, but if it's an aftermarket, that's what the instructions read, that you have to use a seal puller, which is what I use the seal puller to pull the outer seal, and the outer seal looks like this. So this is the outer seal that goes on top of the swing arm bearing right here, and I pulled that with a seal puller. And I also removed the bearing after that. The bearing came out, just pulling out with the finger. And underneath that is the race that we're pulling today. And here's the original race, one that I've already pulled on from the other side. And as you can see, there are a lot of notches from the bearing inside of here, and you can feel it if you run your fingers around. So that told me that these are probably the original bearings with this 100,000-mile bike, and they did need to be replaced. So that's a good way of assessing whether you need to replace these swing arm bearings or not. So what happens with this tool is I'm going to reach into the swing arm, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I just want to show you with the race. These screws fit through the race, and then on the other side, when you tighten the set screw, these screws expand and grab this part of the race from the other side. And then there's some other parts of the tool that you use to pull the actual race out of the swing arm. So now we're going to do it. I'm going over to So here, again, the race is inside here. We're trying to get out. And the only way you can do it is grab from underneath and pull the thing somehow. So this tool is very ingenious. And I'm sticking this tool in with the screws beyond the underside of the race, tightening these up, tightening this insert screw expands the screws to get underneath the race, and make sure that this part is straight as you're doing this. So we're going to snug it up, and then we're going to take the sleeve that fits around, and this works against the actual swing arm as the whole tool pulls up the race. So this sets on the bottom part of the swing arm. So now I'm taking the flat plate, putting it on top, and the nut with the washer on top. So this nut, I'm going to tighten this nut down. This is pushing this part that pulls the center part up, braced against this sleeve, and it pulls it up. So I'm going to use a ratchet wrench very slowly. There we go, look at that. And there is the race that came up through. Let's see. So now I'm going to drive the new bearing race in, and the CycleWorks person said that you can use this to drive it in so far, and then use it this way to drive it the rest of the way in. So I tried that the first time. You might be able to do it that way, but I like a standard bearing driver set better, so I'm going to use that. Here it bottoming out. A good way to tell if the race has gone in the whole way is to measure before and after, you know, how far down it is in the swing arm. It's 10 millimeters in this case. So now that the race is in, I'm going to insert the bearing, but first I'm going to grease the bearing, and I put some thick sticky grease, because this doesn't move fast like a wheel bearing, in my palm, and I'm just kind of working it around the bearings so it gets in between each one, just moving it around. So that feels pretty good. Got it all in there. Spinning it around as I'm doing this, cleaning off my hand basically. I'm just going to drop the bearing in to the race, and then inserting the seal is the last thing. And also it's explained that you can use this tool to insert the seal, and I will use that. I found that using this at the end is good, but not at the beginning so much. Again, I like to use the standard bearing driver set to drive in the seal, and just make sure that you're going in even the whole way around. So here we go with this. And here's the seal again. We're going to stick the seal top, drive that in. It's a little tricky because it wants to go in different directions. It's kind of tricky. Once you get it going, it's good, but you need to get it going first, obviously. See, now it's going in nicely, and you can kind of feel the edge of it. So I'm going to get it almost flush with the swing arm, and then use the plate to drive it in flush. Just kind of spin it around a little. Let's see how this is flush. Now the seal is flush with the last step is to put in this spacer through the seal, make sure the flanged part is, the flanged wider part is against the bearing, so that goes in first. When I took this apart, it was the opposite, and this thing just pulled out. So another good reason to inspect this. So this goes inside the seal, and you just kind of have to work it in, spin it around a little bit. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. Thank you for watching.